Thank you. Oh, it is working. First, Renee, thanks for this incredible opportunity. I'm just honored to be here at Southern Utah University. I've been a health educator for over 20 years in corporate wellness. I've had the opportunity to speak at other universities like Rutgers University, University of Delaware, Temple. I happen to have the great pleasure to meet Renee last year at a conference where I was speaking, and she offered me the opportunity to come and speak to you all, and I jumped at the chance. I've never been in Utah, so it's my first time in Utah. So again, thanks for the opportunity. I'm confident that I will share some information. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. As you can see, that is a picture of me and my family. And for the first time as a family, we were in Disney World in August. And has anyone experienced Disney magic before? Raise your hand if you've been to Disney World. Because to tell you what, no one does it like Disney, obviously, and they do perform the magic. I don't know how they do it, but every day it rained, and after it rained, the sun came out, and there was a rainbow over the Magic Kingdom, or the castle. How do they do that? Not every day. It happened for me that day, and obviously we got a picture, but that's my wife, Anne Marie. My oldest boy is Luke. He is 10 years old. My middle guy, Frank, is certainly having a good time. And the little guy, Ralph Anthony, is four and a half, and we had a ball. We ran him ragged for a whole week. So let's get into it. Want to be more successful and get happy again. As a health educator and a wellness professional, boy, there's a strong link there. I am currently the wellness manager for Wawa, and I know what you're all thinking. That's why it's on the slide. What's a Wawa? We are a convenience store chain in the Northeast and in Florida, and had an opportunity for the first time to get into a, help me out, Renee, what was it again last night? The convenience store that we stopped at? Maverick, yes. So we're like a Maverick. We sell gas. I like to say that. We do it at a bit higher level. So as you can see, a value-based, service-oriented organization in Pennsylvania, 22,000 associates in 6 states. Just last year, we opened up 2 new markets, Central Jersey and North Jersey and Florida. And you can see 8,500 benefit-eligible folks, 636 stores and counting. In fact, we'll open up, if all goes well, 50 stores a year for the next 5 years, at least, and approximately $7 billion in sales. I was fortunate enough, here's a privately held, family-owned business, over 200 years old. They've been in the convenience store business next year, 50 years, and they realized, because of their strong values, that we needed to do something about wellness, and I was fortunate enough to get that job. And I thank God every day for that job. Our vision, as you can see, we aspire to be fast casual to go with world-class convenience. We exist to simplify our customers' lives and what we like to say, friends and neighbors, serving friends and neighbors. So from a wellness manager perspective, again, had an opportunity 3.5 years ago to kind of help shape the direction of this wellness program, much like Renee has been doing for your program. But our wellness vision, and my hope is that at the very least 2 years or so, you can walk into any Wawa and see fit, happy, high-performing associates delivering great customer service. Those who went to Disney, does anyone do service better than Disney? Do you know what I'm talking about there? I'm sure when you've gone into whether it be a hotel or a restaurant or a university, when they do service well, boy, it matters and it makes a big difference. And that's what we're up to around that. Wellness specifically at Wawa, I was going to show a video. I was having some trouble with this. But just quickly, this is why I love my job, and I've been doing this for over 20 years. This is our Jim and James story. We have a very strong culture at Wawa. We have what we call a values program, and associates can write basically a value submission based on another employee. And the gentleman, James, wrote a value submission about Jim on the right. James had a lump on his leg, went to see his doctor. Biopsy was taken. He wasn't sure if it was cancer or not. James on the left had the scare of his life. He's got a young daughter who is 8 years old who he doesn't want to leave. He is a part-time associate with Wawa. He's a full-time janitor. Works with us part-time, been with Wawa for 18 years. Long story short, it was not cancer, but he realized he needed to do something. In about a year's time, with Jim's help, he dropped over 100 pounds, and just was reading an email yesterday from Jim on the right. James is down 120 pounds, recently ran his first 5K, looking to do his next. And we had a big celebration at that store with myself and the CEO and all the staff. So that's a little bit what we're up to. Now let's talk a little bit about what you're up to. It's your turn. This is what I'd like to do really quick, if we could. Just around the room quickly, because I want to get a feel for who's in the room. Just your name, how long you've been at SU, what you do, and why did you choose to attend and what you're looking to get out of today. How about if we start here? Folks, I'd love to get a chance to talk to you all and find out what you do. I did want to get a feel for the room. So again, I will be here after the presentation, so feel free if there's any questions afterwards. Typically when I do these, I've presented to groups as small as 5 or 10, as many as 500 or 1,000. Fairly nice sized group here. But let's keep it moving for the sake of time. And how are we doing on time? I got 12:18. All right, chicken or the egg? That's the big question. Success equals more happiness. Happiness equals more success. Which comes first? Happiness. If you think it's happiness, raise your hand. Well, you guys are sharp here at SU. I like it. You're happy. You'd be surprised what follows. I believe, boy, life is a contact sport, no doubt. Attitude is everything. And as it relates to happiness, we're going to find out. It impacts us in a pretty big way. This is what I'd like to do real quick. If you could at your tables, just for a couple minutes, amongst the folks at your table, you have an opportunity to interact with one another. What is your definition of success? And how does our culture/nation define success, if you could? So let's take a couple minutes at your table. Just talk about that amongst you. And then we'll have 1 or 2 tables share that. Okay? What's your definition of success? And what does our country, how does our country help shape that definition? All right, let's talk about a little bit. We're going to have some fun with this. This is what we're going to do. I need a representative from each table to be the spokesperson for that table. And this is how we're going to do it. If you could for me, let me see your pointer finger. Let me see it. Can I see everyone's pointer finger? Good. Raise it high. Everybody, if you could do this for me. Everybody, here's what we're going to do. At the count of 3, at your table, you're going to point to the person who you'd like to be the leader and speaker for your table. All right? And 1, 2, 3. Do it. All right? I see 1 table. Did you each point at one another over here? All right, all right. I love doing that. We got a speaker for each table. Okay, well, let's start in the back. I think it's our biggest table, next to our biggest table. Who's our speaker? Was it obvious who the speaker was at this table?
I just got here, so.
Right on you, man. Come on, give it to us, Marshall. That's right. You know what? Early bird gets the worm. Late arrivers, the table speaker. Was not what?
Did not be late.
There you go. All right. Keep going. So what does our culture tell us about success? Where do we get? Do you guys talk about that a little bit?
You gotta have money. You gotta have power.
Okay. Yeah, I think yeah, we get those signals all the time. All right. Anything else? Table? Okay, so he came late, so he missed that whole conversation. In other words.
We're talking about society, like.
Okay. Absolutely. Gotcha. Appreciate you for sharing. All right, over here. Who's the leader over here? Beautiful. Go ahead. Share with us. First, maybe a consensus definition on success, and then from a nation perspective.
Our definition of success was, no matter what you're doing, family or work or whatever, you're working at something and then you feel like a sense of accomplishment or happiness within the work that you do.
Got it.
And we kind of agreed with this table about what our culture is.
Yeah, we're bombarded with those signals all the time. No doubt about it. Media, radio, television, movies. How about this table right here? Who's our leader?
I got suckered into.
No, you're obviously a strong leader. The fingers are on you, man. Yeah.
We decided it's being content and happy at where you are.
Okay.
Whether it's having high expectations, big achievements, or just be content with whatever you do. Simple things.
All right. Seeing a lot of common threads. And then, of course, from a culture perspective, messages.
Just being able to accomplish whatever you want, whether it's simple or complex.
Okay, great. Thank you for sharing. How about this table over here? Who's our leader? We should go stand up. I like that. I like that a lot.
It's because I'm the tallest. We decided that a definition of success was to be happy Then we crossed off happy and said content. That's right, they did it, because you can't be happy all the time, but you can be content with your circumstances. And we decided that our culture defines success always with money and power. We don't necessarily do that much in content. Is that not wonderful?
Thank you very much. How about a round of applause? She's standing up there. That's a leader right there. Taking ownership, embracing that, loud and bold. How about over here? Who's our leader here? Who do we point to? Renee, your fearless leader.
Makes sense, but okay. All right. We said a couple of things. We think that success is defined by a peace of mind. The person said having a peace of mind. Another one pointed out that it depends on what branch of your life you're talking about.
That's a great.
You can feel successful in one thing, but not necessarily in the other. And then we have another one that is still searching for what success is to her.
Okay.
So that defines that it's a very individual thing, and that it can also be a dynamic thing and change.
Absolutely. You talked about the importance of values and purpose and mission. That's huge. Thank you for sharing. All right, over here, did anybody get this table yet? You're the leader.
We tie our success to happiness, but to the happiness of those around us. So in my case, my wife's happy, I'm successful.
Smart man. How long have you been married, my friend?
Well, 13 years.
Keep that going. You know what? You can learn. I can learn from you. We can talk afterwards, okay? Help me out with that. What about
We agree with everyone else on how our culture and nations really define success.
Okay. Money, control, power, position, power. Perfect. Over here? Wait, did this table go yet? You guys want this table? No, you didn't. Did you? You're joking. You're the leader. Okay.
We talked about being happy wherever you are for our own success. We also mentioned reaching the goal. Each person should have their own goal and just feeling successful. And then the culture.
Got it.
The bigger, the better, the more.
Yeah. Good deal. Thank you. Who hasn't gone yet? Leaders, talk to me. This table right here. Oh, you were in the lead. Are you the leader?
I'm the leader.
Go. Take it.
We define success as doing things with people that we love and like, and where we do and what we do.
Like it. Yep.
So, and then really the culture is similar to everyone else's. It's a lot about your ownership of how many possessions you have, how much you have to make.
Gotcha. Thank you very much. Who's left? I know this table's left right here. Thank you.
The definition of success is when we talk about life of fulfillment, life of purpose, and then cultural is basically what they're saying. We actually kind of put it into 3 P's, which is position, power, and possessions.
Gotcha. That was perfect. Well said. Thank you. Is this the last table? Last but not least.
Same thing pretty much what I said.
Okay.
You love like a second family.
All right.
And the second is the nation's definition is so much. And most of them kids in school.
Yeah. Yeah. So it seems that obviously for whatever reason, again, the 3 P's more than anything else tells us it's about position and power. But all of you agree that success is obviously not that at all. So in the end, from a success, which comes first, happiness or success, boy, to be able to create your happiness. By the way, who's responsible for your happiness and your health and your well-being? You are, I am, for our own individuals, correct? No finger pointing on that one. All right, let me, hopefully this works out. How many folks are familiar with positive psychology? Few, all right. I want to show a video that I got right off the internet, and I love this style of communication. You all familiar with RSA Animate or this type of communication style? Check this out. And is my IT guy still in the room? He is. So what's his name again? Randy. No, just stay there, Randy, because I think I'm good, man.
Positive psychology is the scientific study of what makes life most worth living. It is a science, and science requires testing theories against evidence. It is not a sequel to The Secret, and should not be confused with untested self-help, fly-by-night motivational speakers, or New Age philosophy. Much of psychology has been concerned with that. Answering the question, what is wrong with you? It has sought to make individuals less miserable, to treat pathology and mental illness. The goal of the positive psychology movement is to make normal life more fulfilling. It asks the question, what is right with you? Instead of trying to help a patient go from -8 back to 0, the goal is to help individuals move up the other side of the scale. The field is intended to complement, not to replace, traditional psychology. It does not seek to deny the importance of studying how things go wrong, but it does assert that strength is as important as weakness, and that it is just as important to build on the best things in life as to repair the worst. Positive psychology is concerned with increasing well-being. Is well-being the same thing as happiness? Not exactly. Martin Seligman, co-founder of the positive psychology movement, describes well-being as being made up of 5 pillars: positive emotion, engagement, relationships, meaning, and accomplishment. Branches of exploration in positive psychology. The term flow was coined by Mike Csikszentmihalyi, co-founder of the positive psychology movement. Flow is a state of absorption in one's work. It is characterized by intense concentration, loss of self-awareness, a feeling of being perfectly challenged, neither bored nor overwhelmed, and a sense that time is flying. Flow is an intrinsically rewarding experience. It can also help one achieve a goal or improve skills, and is highly related to creative insight. Mindfulness is intentionally focused awareness of one's immediate experience. The experience is one of moment-by-moment attention to thoughts, emotions, physical sensations, and surroundings. To practice mindfulness is to become grounded in the present moment. Benefits include reduction of stress, anxiety, depression, and chronic pain. Learned optimism is the idea that a talent for joy can be cultivated. That said, it's important to note the research tells us that the path to fulfillment requires considerable hard work. There are few, if any, shortcuts to sustain happiness and well-being. Anyone who says otherwise is selling something. It is contrasted with learned helplessness, which is when one believes that he or she has no control over what occurs, and that external forces, such as genetics or social class, ultimately dictate his or her ability to accomplish a task or succeed. Evidence suggests that well-being is not simply the result of the fortunate spin of the genetic roulette wheel. There are things that people can actively do to lead more fulfilling lives. Professor Howard Gardner is leading a large-scale effort to identify individuals and institutions that exemplify good work, work that is excellent in quality, socially responsible, and meaningful to its practitioners. The project also seeks to determine how best to increase the incidence of good work in our society. The Good Work Project argues that society as a whole would be better off to encourage individuals to pursue excellence for its own sake, to gravitate toward projects where they regularly achieve a sense of flow, and to find positions that will help them achieve higher levels of fulfillment. Is positive psychology an easy answer to all of society's problems? No, let's not be naive. But we must ask ourselves, if we apply the tenets of positive psychology to education, business, and government, if we encourage individuals and communities to build on their strengths, if we focus attention on the pillars of well-being, if we channel more energy into what makes life worth living, what might be possible?
Okay. Oh, not done. I like this. Read that. Contrary to what most of us believe, happiness does not simply happen to us. It's something that we make happen. Anyone familiar with that gentleman? I have a tough time pronouncing his name. I see a head shaking. How do you know him?
I can't pronounce his name either.
How do you know? What have you?
I've read his books.
Which one? Flow?
Flow,
Yeah, great book. Anyone into athletics and sports? I know we have an AD in the room. Any experience with flow, sir? You know, no? Being in the zone?
I know about flow.
What do you know about flow?
So there's like flow and confusion, and you actually learn more to alternate between flow and confusion.
Okay.
You just stay in like one state. So there's benefit from oscillating between the two.
I think the challenge as it relates to what I've learned with flow and positive psychology, to be fully engaged and fully in the moment. Would you say that we have a challenge in our culture right now, being fully engaged and being present? What's posing the biggest challenge there, you think? Everyone have one of this? One of these? Yeah, I tell you what, boy, it is interesting. I think it's great, but boy, you can easily become a slave to that. Any other thoughts, comments on what you saw there? What else jumped out at you on that? A couple things jumped out at me. What else? Go ahead.
One thing this morning was on TV that they had men and women say, instead of, what part of your body don't you like, what part of your body do you like?
I love that.
And some people said it took them a while to think of something,
And that's something.
whether it was their hair or their, thumb or whatever. But you said, one guy said his big toe.
Wow, okay.
But, it was so easy for them to say what's negative. Oh, I don't like my hips, or I don't like this, or I don't like my chin. But they really had to think to say something positive about this.
And I think you're dead on with it. I think the biggest challenge for us as a nation is that, let's face it, do we have a culture of health in our country or a culture of sickness? Unfortunately, disease, we have a sick care system. I think from a human perspective, boy, we are miracles of creation, and we are one of a kind, and there's so much to be grateful and thankful for there, but I think as a culture, we tend to focus on the 3 Ps and don't realize the gift that we are given by life itself. But thank you for sharing. Anything else? Anybody else? What else? Anything jump out? How about from a stress perspective? Did anyone see the slide about the person that was like all stretched out? Anyone in the room? In the room, how many folks have a challenge with stress on a regular basis? Raise your hand. Come on now. If you're breathing, I think you have a challenge with stress, to be quite honest with you. Part of that challenge, I think, our inability to be present and be in the moment, be focused, and we're always either worried about what happened in the past or things that were going on in the past or what's going to happen in the future. But boy, to be able to be present, I think that takes mental training, focus, priority, and over time, what is this telling us? Can that be done? Absolutely, it can be done. We all saw that. Anyone familiar with this guy? This guy wrote a pretty impressive book, The Happiness Advantage. If you get a chance, any TED Talk fans in the room? Raise your hand if you're a TED Talk fan. Tell me about TED Talk for the folks that don't know what I'm talking about.
So they put on conferences and people come and share ideas and
Yes.
that they have and they stand talking to people.
Yeah, just amazing. People are sharing ideas that they're passionate about, that they believe can make a difference. This guy's done a great job from a happiness advantage. I want to show you this real quick. This is not as long as the last one. And
what if you could improve your productivity by 30% without sacrificing happiness? What if it turned out that becoming happier was actually the key? Over the past decade, scientists have made a revolutionary finding that happiness is actually the precursor to success, not merely the result of it. What we've discovered is what I call the happiness advantage. When we're happy, our success rates rise. In fact, every single business outcome improves when a brain is set to positive as opposed to negative, neutral, or stressed. Optimistic salespeople outsell their negative peers by 37%. Students primed to be positive score better on standardized math tests. Happy doctors perform diagnoses more accurately than unhappy doctors. Coal miners who feel appreciated by their bosses increase their productivity by 30%. Happy employees show 3 times greater levels of creativity, and evidence goes on and on. And the best part is, you have the opportunity to gain this competitive edge. In my new book, The Happiness Advantage, I describe in detail 7 practical strategies you can use on a daily basis to improve your happiness and performance at work, based on the latest research from the fields of positive psychology and neuroscience, and my work with Harvard students and Fortune 500 companies. Happiness is a work ethic, and if you can train your brain to become more positive, you can bring the happiness advantage to work.
Thoughts, comments? I'm going to ask a tough question here, and don't throw me out of the room. Is happiness a part of the culture here at Sioux? Oh yeah, I like that. Oh yeah, without hesitation, oh yeah. I tell you what, that's big. But what I've found as it relates to companies and cultures, like for example, I work for Wawa, but as it relates to my experience of Wawa, who is really the key person that's going to influence my experience at my job? Who's responsible for influencing my experience? Is it the CEO or the president of the university? Who is it? Myself, but who else? Say again? Your coworkers? But I'm thinking of one person specifically as it relates to who we work with. I heard it. Who said that? Your boss, absolutely. Well, then you're fortunate. Then they're leading the way in a big way. So I think that's huge. You know, it's interesting. Renee and I had an opportunity to do a site visit yesterday. And boy, culture is so important. I think the work Renee is trying to do here at Sioux as it relates to health and wellness and getting people fit and happy and productive. There's so many good things about that. Anyone familiar with the company Zappos? Raise your hand if you know Zappos or made an order by Zappos. Well, what is Zappos noted for? I heard shoes, but what are they really noted for? Customer service in a big way. Who's had a phenomenal experience? Their work ethic? Stand up, please. Please stand up and share your story again.
One of the Alpha Phi women landed a job there, and she has a flask every day long. They work really hard, but they have a lot of fun on the job. They don't have a dress code, and they just seem to have a lot of fun.
It is a very amazing culture, and I'll tell you what, you guys are literally about 2.5 hours away. They do tours every day. I highly recommend it. Maybe even a nice little team project. Check it out from a culture perspective and what's possible. And I was blown away. And Wawa has a pretty strong culture. We benchmarked this company. And in fact, we had an opportunity to pick up a free book. And they do this every year. They have a company yearbook. And every year they give associates an opportunity to write something about their company and what they like about their company. I just started reading some of these and just blew me away. And the number one thing that most people are talking about as it relates to that culture, what do you think it was? Why they love their job so much. The support and the friendship of their coworkers, that is just amazing. I know he has my back, just life-changing. Pretty powerful. Let's talk a little bit about emotional intelligence, or EQ, and we're kind of winding this thing down. Who's familiar with emotional intelligence, EQ? Raise your hand. Have you heard that term before? I have not. In fact, the first time I learned about it at a boot camp at Wawa. I've been with Wawa 3.5 years, and every year we take all our managers and new associates through a 1-week boot camp and had an opportunity to be introduced to emotional intelligence, or EQ. We've all heard of IQ, correct? There's also EQ. So emotional intelligence 2.0. And you can see here, harness the power of the #1 predictor of professional success and personal excellence. So what's the big distinction around EQ? By the way, IQ. Is it possible to improve or make your IQ better? Anyone know? I see a head shaking no. You're on fire today, young lady. You're absolutely right. You can't do that. She always is. We need to talk afterwards. I want to meet you and shake your hand. Your IQ is fixed. I've never personally taken an IQ test. I don't want to know. But once you get that number, you're locked in. The unique thing about EQ is EQ fixed? No, it's not. Believe it or not, it's not. It's really about understanding and having the ability to manage your emotions and interact in ways that empower you and yourself and allow you to really thrive in life. Let me show this next short piece, which this is Amanda Gore talking about emotional intelligence in the workplace.
A study at Harvard recently showed that customers will consistently come back to people they like. 80% of what brings them back is the personality of the person. 20% is the skill. Think about that, guys. 80% is your personality. That's just one chunk of information, though. Here's the second chunk. In emotional intelligence, it's now been proven that the mood of the leader will determine the mood of an organisation. Your mood as an individual professional will determine the mood of the person that comes in to see you. Your mood really matters. So if something terrible's happened to you at home, and you come into work and you're angry and upset, and you're feeling that life sucks, and you go blah all over everyone on the counter, blah all over your team, you don't do it on purpose, but it just happens. And if you do that, you're going to lose everyone. Your mood and your personality matter. The more enthusiastic you are, and the more enthusiasm and connection you have with people, the better your business will be.
That was about 2 minutes on emotional intelligence. We can easily spend a whole day or a couple days on that.
I have a question.
Certainly.
Would you talk about two things? How Zappos hires people? I think that's really significant.
Okay.
And the offer that they
Yeah.
And then talk to us about why these touchy-feely things like this, how we can make them important to our bosses, our supervisors, leaders of companies across the country. Why should that matter to them?
Okay, let me start with the first one, and you may have to remind me of the last one before I'm done. So Zappos, their culture is amazing, and their hiring process is pretty amazing too. I think they said last year they had 4,000 applications for, what was it, Renee?
There's 30,000 applications.
Thank you. I'm corrected. 30,000 applications for how many positions? For 400. People want to work for Zappos. They bring them in as by far a non-traditional interview. They'll ask them a range of questions because the challenge for them is they want to make sure the person is the right fit for the culture. And they'll ask questions like, what were some of the questions, Renee? If you could be a superhero, we're going to do this right now. If you could be a superhero, anyone, which superhero would you be and why?
Oh man, tough. Superwoman, she can fly.
Ah, I like it. They'll ask questions like that. They want to see how, again, folks, what their attitude comes through, what their attitude is like in responding to questions like that. And then when they finally do make someone an offer, they start them in training, and everyone, including the VPs, will spend 4 weeks in the call center learning the business, because that is their business. But after week 1, they have something called the offer. And they'll say, I'll give you $2,000 if you decide not to take this job. Do you want this job? And if you decide not to take this job, we'll give you $2,000. Why do you think they're making that offer? Say that again?
No one's taking the $2,000.
Well, first of all, I asked that question. You know how often people meaning they get a chance to back out of that job, meaning they got a chance to see it for a week, they get the offer, and less than 1% take advantage. But it's a one-time offer, by the way, because once you accept that offer, you can no longer work for Zappos. In fact, we were on tour, and it was a young lady, probably 18 or 19 years old. It was during the summer. She worked there for a week. She got in the door, but she wanted to be a lifeguard. She said, you know what? I don't think I want the job. So she decided to be a lifeguard. She took the offer. Saw another hand. Any question? I'll get ahead.
They want happy employees more than they want, to go through the hiring process again. They'd rather do that and have their employees be happy and bring in more money with their customer service.
Yeah, and their service is just through the roof. And we got a chance to do a tour and just to see what they're doing and how they're doing it, and that environment. And by the way, is positive energy, I'm sorry, question, comment?
I was just going to say, to me, that would prove to their dedication to the company when they do.
Well, great point, yeah. Boy, is positivity or positive energy contagious, would you say, or infectious? No doubt about it. You walk through those halls, there's an energy and there's a feel, and if you get a chance, and I'll have the book up here, you see some of the comments. That is amazing. My thing was, imagine working for a company like you get out of college, or you're 19, 20 years old, and you spend 25, 30 years in a culture like that. How do you think that would affect your overall health and wellness? Through the roof. In fact, over the years, I've been a personal trainer, done a lot of fitness evaluations, got a chance to know people, and oftentimes people would sit down with me, and they're having real challenges with their job or their boss. I said, listen, you have a couple choices. You either change your attitude about what you're doing, or you change your job. Because where you're at right now, if you continue to be in there, not a great thing. What was the third part of that question, Renee?
Why should this be important to anybody? And tell them how much money Zappos makes. That's why it's important.
Well, from a bottom line perspective, boy, it impacts the bottom line in a big way. And I tell you, I've never shopped at Zappos before, but next time I go to buy a pair of shoes, I'm going to go online, I'm going to check them out. From a service perspective and being servicing people at that level, boy, it starts with attitude, and there's a learning, of course. And not only is it the right thing to do for the business, but it's a right thing to do for the environment. And from as far as creating a culture of health, boy, that's a very healthy environment. And what was their latest sales number? I don't remember off the top of my head, Renee.
I think it was $22 million in one day.
Yeah, just incredible. And oftentimes when people have a bad experience, how many people they typically tell? Anyone know? Ever heard this before? About 12 to 15. If someone has a good experience, how many do they tell? More or less? A lot less. I guarantee you get on the phone with someone at Zappos, people are calling Zappos for, listen, I'm in a city right now, I've never been here before, and I need to find a good place for pizza. Can you help me out? Do you think they help them out? They help them out. They don't care what it is. They're going to help you out. To me, that is amazing. And remember the movie, one of my favorite all-time holiday classics, Miracle on 34th Street? You guys remember that movie? What was Macy's doing thanks to Santa Claus that was just blowing people away? They were sending people to other stores if they didn't have it. Well, that's what Zappos does. How many companies are doing that? They want to take care of you. They want to value you. That is amazing to be able to know that their number one priority is people and helping people. And they get it. I'll tell you what an infectious culture. Any other questions, comments on that? So what does it all mean? Become aware of and better manage our emotions so we can use true and lasting happiness to fuel success. Folks, if you take away nothing out of this but one thing, boy, to be happy, to work on that and to know that that is possible. Can you be happy 24 hours a day? Well, of course not. But do we have who chooses our attitude each and every day? We do. And if you have a tight team and someone's struggling maybe that day, to be able to help them maybe turn it around, boy, I just think that's big. And from a wellness perspective, nothing more better for someone's health to know that they're a part of an organization that cares for them, that truly loves them, and wants to be there for them, and wants nothing more for them to be successful. Boy, that is huge. All right, so I just want to share a couple quick takeaways, some happy tools for success. Again, take the Emotional Intelligence 2.0 appraisal. If you buy this book, in the back, there's actually gives you access to the appraisal, and you can take it a couple times. For those of you that are a little tight on budget, there's actually a free Emotional Intelligence appraisal at that website. In fact, I'll make this presentation available to everybody. How about a few other things? How about first thing each morning, write an email to someone in your network, praising them, thanking them, or acknowledging them for something they did. Boy, how often do we just say, wow, great job. Thank you very much. You were there for me when I needed it. How about a gratitude journal? I think some of you are already doing that. It's part of the T-FIT program. Tell you what, that from a happiness perspective, a habit, like anything else, over time, write 5 new things each day for 21 days. Why do you think I have the new in bold, by the way? You got to write 5 different things for 21 days. Try that. It's not as easy as you think. But once you start focusing on that, what tends to happen? You're smiling. You've done this before, haven't you? Have you done it? Yeah? Is it pretty cool?
Yeah, you think of new things that you didn't realize that you were great.
Yeah, and you start looking for that. If you start looking for it, you also start to find it. And then the last one, follow the Fit to Fly 5. Anyone know what the Fit to Fly 5 is? In fact, a little secret, it was on every slide in this presentation. It was also, I showed it. Eat right, move more, quit tobacco, inspire others, have fun. That's our Fit to Fly 5, our wellness mantra. In the end, you need your health. It's probably the most important thing to do. If you're a happy boy, it goes a long way in help maintain the health. But on a regular basis, I know that's what Renee's up to with you folks, to form those habits that allow you to do those things each and every day. And you create a culture of success and support, and boy, nothing better. Folks, questions, comments? Again, I thank you for the time. It's a pleasure to be here. I hope you found that helpful, enjoyable. Take it back, share it, be contagious with your enthusiasm and your happiness. And what happens if you do that? What will follow, according to my presentation? Success. Thank you. Guys, thanks for participating. Give yourselves a round of applause.